Welcome to the She Births Show podcast, Season 2. I'm Nadine Richardson, mother, yoga teacher, doula, author and speaker. Founder of the world's only scientifically verified childbirth education program, She Births, and host of your She Births Show. We created the She Births Show on audio and YouTube as a place to inspire your birth, evolve your parenting, and help you live a life that you love. Through the She Births course and community support, we are proud to have supported thousands of families with the education to facilitate a better birthing experience as well as better breastfeeding, including initiation and continuation. You can log into our free app and learn more from our videos and resources. Alexx Stuart is the author of Lox Tox Life, a founder of a thriving online education hub by the same name. She's an educator and change agent, a TEDx speaker, best-selling author, committed to making a healthier and happier planet for all. And like us, she is deeply passionate about helping families. In our podcast today with the lovely Alexx Stuart, we discuss her story and why she created Lox Tox Life. And we talk about our modern world and how you can make the best choices for your family. We discuss the current fertility crisis, the effects of gluten, mould, dust, bacteria. We discuss really simple Wi-Fi rules that you could adopt and help make your clothing choices easier. We talk about what pillows to use and what water is best for you and your baby. And Alexx will probably inspire you to contact your local councils and schools regarding your kids' play and learning areas. And she's even got really simple downloads on her website too. Alexx gives us a fabulous fragrance box challenge for a week, plus tips on choosing Christmas gifts and more. Most importantly though, Alexx has the key to not getting overwhelmed in the process of low toxing your life and home. What a relief. Make sure you sign up for her amazing e-courses through our new She Births shop. People have been asking me for years who I recommend for support and further learning, especially after giving birth. So to make it easy for you, we are growing a special on-site store, providing discounts to all our favourite things for the She Births community. So just go to shebirths.com/shop and make sure that you use this special code to get 20% off Alexx's e-courses until the end of 2020. The code for Alexx's courses is SheLowTox20. That is in capitals SheLowTox20, SheLowTox20. On the She Births shop, I really hope that you can enjoy this great value podcast. You can also watch it on YouTube if you prefer. See you soon. Hi everybody, welcome to the She Births Show. I'm Nadine Richardson, founder of the She Births program, the only scientifically verified program in the world to help you have a better birth. And today we have with us Alexx Stuart from Lox Tox Life. She has an amazing book that I'm sure a lot of you have heard about. But she's a mother, she's a change maker, she's an educator. She has so much amazing content for you today and on her website that I know is going to help make your life so much better. So dive on in and we're going to have a big chat. How are you?
Awesome, I'm so good. It's great to be having this conversation.
Yeah, for families, right?
I know, it's the best because if we get it right for pregnancy and for kids, then it means we can radically change the future health picture, which that's why we wake up, basically.
We live for our kids, we may as well try and make their life easier, right? And our own. So I suppose, should we just jump in with like how on earth you became the low tox specialist? Like how does that happen?
I know, strange. My dad always said, if you don't see a job that exists, why don't you create it? And I kind of really took that quite literally. I started working for myself when I was 11.
Wow.
I've tried working for people. Often it just doesn't work.
Tell me what you did at 11.
At 11, I had a car wash business. and I washed all the cars in the street, and that was a $10 fee, including a polish. I thought that was pretty good.
That's good.
Then as I got older, I'm half French, so a lot of people wanted me to tutor their kids. So I did a lot of that. I ran dance parties for little girls so that all their friends could come and I'd be the entertainment. I even just started saying yes and figuring it out later to hilarious things like, do you teach Latin as well by any chance? I'm like, yeah, of course. And so I went and learnt Latin.
I love you. You're amazing.
And then taught this kid Latin. Hilarious. But anyway, I've always been resourceful, yeah, for sure. And I've never, ever felt bound by what I saw in front of me as any kind of defined boundaries for how things should be done. I always very happy to bravely break stuff down and move forward. So I guess that spirit that I naturally have.
Your parents must have instilled a great sense of esteem in you as well.
Yeah, my dad is Captain Enthusiasm. He throws himself into everything almost to a fault, like too much, you know, that way when people are just completely selfless. And my mum is the rational bearings person. So between the two of them, you get the good amount of enthusiasm to have the bravery, and then the, is this a good idea? Can I weigh it up against a few knowns and unknowns, and is it worth proceeding? Like, so it was an amazing combo. Thanks, Mum and Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did I become a low tox specialist? Well, firstly, it helps that I came up with the term.
Yeah, that's right. And it is so good.
So literally, there was nothing that existed that was called low tox before 2009. When late 2009, I came up with this term for basically everything that I wanted to start teaching people once I'd been on my way for a few years. And I just didn't know this or quitting that or free from or non. They just all seemed quite negative. And I'd done a fair bit of psychology work on the fly, running bars and cosmetics businesses, like just dealing with people all my life. And I knew from my own experience as well that as soon as you try and create this version of perfect and everything else is not perfect and therefore wrong, you have people failing, you have senses of shame out there, you have comparisonitis, you have all that kind of stuff. And I just thought, I don't want to start teaching people and then have them jump ship before they even have a good crack at stuff because they feel like they'll never be good enough. And you know, the reality is we're going to walk past a car, we'll get a whiff of exhaust, we're going to sit next to someone who's smoking at a cafe. You name it, it's impossible to be no tox. It's actually impossible. So I really wanted to foster a sense of possibility, curiosity and self-paced exploration of doing things better.
It implies like a sense of evolution and journey with it. So there's sometimes we become more toxic, then you become less toxic, and you have to reassess like events in your life as well would happen to make you toxic. So there's a spectrum within that you're always trying to work towards as well, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's always just about going, what can I now do now that I feel comfortable with what I've done?
Yeah.
You know, because you don't want to just try and achieve all these things and then you end up stressing yourself out and thinking, oh, it's all too hard.
Which is toxic.
Yeah, super toxic. Stress will kill us faster than anything.
Yeah.
So that's how the whole low tox thing was born. And originally it was Alexx Stuart, Real Food, Low Tox Living. And then I realised food was very much within low tox living. And I didn't want my name in there anymore. And a lot of people are like, why don't you want your name in there? You did this. And I just thought it was bigger than me. I didn't want people to think that I was some guru. This is huge. And I wanted to make it about all the experts we bring into our community through our courses and podcasts, through the book. And have it be everybody's story, not just my story that everybody's following. Yeah. I think we're all done with that.
Yeah.
I love that you're...
but we're the total same.
Yeah, exactly.
Very open, very comprehensive. There's no one guru. You're your own expert.
You are your own expert.
Yeah, and we bring... one of the key reasons that I felt compelled, almost forced to create She Births was that I was seeing women prepare in other ways feeling ashamed of their experience. And that's like, you can't go into motherhood feeling shame and guilt and tortured about things. No.
It's so true.
Yeah.
And I think, our situation is our situation. You got to own it. Yeah. and springboard from it to better places if it wasn't so great, rather than own it, feel ashamed and like shriveled up in a corner in the fetal position. Like, that doesn't help the world at all. So that's how Lox Tox was born, and it was really just a blog at the start, as so many of these things go.
In 2010, is that when it started?
2010. I started as a sort of blog that I was literally only sharing with family and friends, and then started to see strangers' comments in the show notes. I was like, who are these people? I don't even know Janine Smith. And I'd be like, come check this out. And I'd be showing my husband. And then one day someone popped up and said, I really like what you talk about. Have you considered a Facebook page? And this was the infancy of online community creation back then, which is crazy given how recent that is, but it was. And so that's when I started a page. So early 2012 was when it all really kicked off.
Wow. And was it aligned with your own personal journey with toxicity as well?
Massively. Yeah. So it all started with food for me. And
food?
Well, if you talk to people, a lot of people, if you think about food, body, home, mind, toxicity, food's like the easiest one for people to start joining the dots that there might be something wrong. I eat this, I feel crap. It's one of the most intimate communication tools we have with what we're putting in us. What we put on us and what we put all around us tends to be a bit later for people. They get the food right and maybe they still feel crap, so they're like, what's next? Because it's like a soup of toxicity that we're in, and some of the ingredients come from food, some of them come from personal care cleaning, some of them come from what you choose to make your floor, some of them it's all these different things. Mould, we've both had an issue with that. So for me it was food, and food as a means to heal chronic tonsillitis. And the drugs had stopped working, and I saw a naturopath who explained the connection between gluten and strep bugs that cause tonsillitis that was kind of starting to form in the research. And she said, maybe you'd do well to ditch the gluten and just see if that makes an impact. I was like, worst day of my life. 15 years ago, there was not much to help people who were gluten-free feel excited about that. But what it was the best gift, because I had to learn how to cook to make delicious things. And it really brought out my French heritage side. I'd be talking to, French friends more, relatives, digging up my grandmother's cookbooks, trying to experiment with, it became a really beautiful personal journey. And I stopped getting tonsillitis. So it was just incredible. And then from there, I went back to the naturopath because I hadn't had a period for 2 years after quitting the contraceptive pill in my mid-20s. So we're now in the late 20s. And she was furious that I'd been told I had early onset menopause. So for anyone out there who gets told these sorts of things on a whim off the back of 2 little tests, please consider bringing a naturopath into your health team, because they know how to get the body talking to itself better, the system's all communicating better. Certainly know a lot more about how to modulate hormones to improve fertility chances. And not that I was trying for a baby, but I just thought, 2 years, I think I should see someone about this. You've sorted out the tonsils, what are you going to do for this? And she's like, right, let's get on some herbs. 6 weeks later, I got a period. And the doctor was like, well, I don't know how that happened, but whatever you're doing, keep doing it, which happens so often. Nothing against doctors, of course, but it's just this acknowledgement that we really need to start realising there are certain health professionals that do grey area medicine better, I think. And I will always go to my doctor for the big scary rule outs or for help if the shit hits the fan, excuse my language. But, I really like having a diverse health team, I think. I think it's really wonderful. So that, and then the baby shower was really the next big penny drop. Got pregnant, yes. A few years later, found a guy, married, got the period. Everything started happening for me. And I remember being given all those well-meaning packs, the Johnson & Johnson packs and all the things. One of those too. And I thought, I'm really good at reading food labels now, because you have to be a crazy detective to keep gluten out of your diet if you want to buy anything in a packet ever.
So you stayed off gluten from that?
Yeah, I haven't. I've been gluten-free, and funnily enough, actually, the one time I wasn't was when I was pregnant, because often you don't have those issues anymore. Yeah. Your immune system changes, and you can often tolerate the things you couldn't tolerate. Yeah. And then when Seb was born, I was in this false sense of security that I could keep my palmiers, croissants, and miche breads, and be a good little Frenchie again. And then got tonsillitis literally when I was 2 months old. So that was it. Then I was done for life. Wow. Yeah, it's just not for me.
Yeah. So would you define yourself as a true celiac?
No, not a celiac. No. I've been tested for celiac disease and I'm not. I have one of the genes that, the HLA-DR-DQ gene, same genes as mould susceptibility that you test for. And I have a few SNPs in those two genes. So there's an increased chance of celiac disease, but I don't present with the disease. I just have a really bad intolerance.
Yeah. Got it. Fascinating.
Yeah. So then once I started looking at these personal care products that I was supposed to be putting on my beautiful newborn.
On their bottom.
On their little bot.
Yeah.
I know. I was like, this is 90% plus petroleum. So I started to research, well, maybe, paraffin wax, that's not dangerous. Certainly not great if it's then washing off into the waterways and things, but it's not dangerous on the skin. And so I started to think, well, is it that bad? And so I did some research. Because I think quite often we just instantly assume that any type of chemical is bad, must be bad.
But everything
is a chemical. If you had a blueberry, you've had a cocktail of 19 chemicals in there. More, actually, I think, with blueberries. So we've got to stop saying chemical free or, chemicals are bad, because I think that language does a disservice to the movement of concerned citizens wanting more action on this stuff. It just makes scientists dismiss you straight away. And so what I found was that a lot of these petroleum-based chemicals could be one of two types of ingredients. One group of ingredients where they had a strong reaction with skin or lungs, so skin irritant, lung irritant, eye irritant in the research, and it was always possible. So it's not like definite, so it depends on the person, depends on how much you use it. But I was just still a bit bugged by the fact that was allowed to be in a baby product.
Yeah, wow.
Then the second type, which was even more scary, was this group of chemicals that emerged in my research called endocrine disruptive chemicals, so hormone disruptors. And these types of chemicals have the capability of either blocking your natural hormone signalling or mimicking it. So it can make you feel like your body's got more estrogen or progesterone, whatever, you name it, running around in its body, or just block the production altogether, like just make your body not set off all of its chain reactions correctly. In the most basic way you can describe what an endocrine disruptor does. And I was like, how are we putting endocrine disruptors on our kids? And how do they not need to be labelled in some cases? So, some of them, like parabens, for example, because they're a preservative, they were on a label. But something like a phthalate, PHTHALATES, this is hidden under the word fragrance, which can have up to 150 different chemicals inside that word. And I was just like, right, I'm done. I've got to start writing about this, because none of my smart friends who went to school and university know anything about these. And I'm pretty sure other people would like to know what's in their products.
Absolutely.
So that's how it started, really.
And so what did you do at your baby shower? Say thanks and then literally just put everything in the bin? That's what I did with a lot of our things. And then even with baby presents as well. Anyway, we should go into that separately. But what do you do then? Were there goat milk bases and for creams, or what did you do at that time? Were there things around?
Yes, it was only 10 years ago, and I had been given a massage cream from my auntie just for myself, I remember. And I had, to be fair, I had started using some of the brands that were less toxic.
Right.
More greenwashy kind of almost their kind of brands, but definitely infinitely better. Yeah. And so I had heard of Weleda through this range of products, and Weleda are an amazing international brand founded by Rudolf Steiner, just incredible products and really great value. And I remember seeing these wacky soaps at at the health shop called Dr. Bronner's with all this writing on them. So I knew there were a couple of great brands that I could just jump into and go to. And so that's what I started with, the calendula range from Weleda, which is available globally. That's why I feel okay sharing it with your listeners, because they're sort of from everywhere. And the Dr. Bronner soaps, who have a great unscented baby one in their range.
Because I don't even remember any of that. My son's 17. I just remember getting that J&J package and going, this just feels so wrong, like putting these smelly things on my child. But I don't even think we had anything.
Yeah, it was pretty hard to find. And, you know, being hippie was still very niche.
My son still thinks I'm a hippie.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
because I don't like him using links in the house.
Yeah. Stuff's horrible.
Yeah. We're going to grow out of it soon.
Yeah.
We're going to grow out of it soon.
He will.
Yeah.
It's peer pressure.
Yeah. So it was this whole personal journey, and the philosophy is very much about there's a spectrum, we do the best we can to lower toxicity, which comes through food, through our mind, and the other ones you said were?
Body and home.
Body and home.
Yeah.
So you just kept building your knowledge and exploring and researching.
That's right. Yeah. And I did what I've kind of always done. I learn something and then I teach it. It's just like the example of being the Latin tutor. I'm like, okay, I'll figure it out and then I'll teach this kid how to do it. So that's kind of what I'm good at in life. Yeah.
You are very good at it.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. So you've got 9 courses that people can do, and I love how you've broken it down into these little communities as well, which I think allows people to not feel so incredibly overwhelmed. And then you've got that premium course where you handhold, because you know that when people start learning about toxicity, it can just feel completely overwhelming.
That's right.
And you start to like, I can't do this, it's too hard.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, I'm sure how my mum feels when I start talking to her about you can't eat the food just off the shelf in Coles, Mum. Like we could go to the farmers markets, let's buy organic. But she doesn't want to know sometimes about certain things. It's just too overwhelming.
Yeah, and I think I can't handle the thought of someone feeling overwhelmed out there and alone, because I know what that was like to try and research everything and find everything. It was exhausting. And, you know, half the time as creators, we create the resource we wish we'd had when we were going through it.
Yes, that's what I've done.
And that's honestly the foundation on which I've built everything. I wish I'd had a great preconception course. I wish when I went through the mould stuff, I had a great chronic inflammation course.
Oh my God.
I wish when I was trying to figure out what to put on my baby's tushy, I had like Lox Tox. Like everything is created because I just don't think it should be that hard or that expensive to get the support.
No, that's right. And you foster community, and other people are always helping and sharing those resources, which is a beautiful thing, which we do as well. So let's jump into fertility.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, massive crisis really going on, I think.
Do you know what I always say in my talks? Especially if I get a few guys in the audience, because often there aren't enough men as a part of this conversation. I get really excited when I've got some guys in there, because I'm like, right, because when the guys get it, they're just so no nonsense about it. It's so cut and dry compared to women who like searching through all the intricacies of everything, and it's such a powerful, fast, accelerated route to change, I think, for families when wives bring their husbands, which is why it'd be amazing if you're a wife or a partner and you're listening now and you've got a husband who's not really into this kind of stuff, bring him into this conversation right now and get him listening. When you drive down a Sydney highway at the moment, you are very likely to see fertility clinic billboards. These billboard companies charge up to about $300,000 a month for the privilege of being on the roadside of a Sydney highway. Now you tell me the kind of size of a company and the kind of size of the problem that they are solving and the kind of customer base that they must surely have paying for their service to have the kind of turnover that can actually afford to have a $300,000 billboard, and tell me we don't have a fertility crisis. You know, I just get goosebumps every time I see one. I think I'm going to work harder, I've got to do more, I've got to help more people, because it ain't cool.
No. And there also needs to be an investigation into the type of work that's being done. Like, we've had in She Births families and nurses that have worked in those fertility clinics that now no longer can, because they feel the amount of recommendations, the amount of procedures that parents are going through, they wouldn't have been offered or suggested to go down that path. Not offered, but they wouldn't have been suggested to go down that path because it's almost ineffective. But there's a literal billing cycle, conveyor belt that people are being pushed down in those industries as well.
I don't know much about that side of things.
It was on ABC the other night as well.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Amazing. I'll check it out, because I think if we give people more tools at the front end of starting to experience these issues. I mean, I have had people through my courses, whether it's Preconception Ninja or Go Tox. One of the couples who went through Go Tox, a guy at my gym and his wife, they went through it. And after everything, they'd done IVF, they'd done every possible thing, they just fell pregnant once they got rid of all the toxins. And I went to the little first birthday of little B, and Corinne introduced me as the person who made B. And I just think, like, this is basic information. I mean, it's lovely that that's how they felt, but I want everyone to feel that they have access to this, because it shouldn't be that hard for most people. Of course you're going to get some genetic defects every now and then. It really is tricky, and there are some incredible people who work at that end of the spectrum to help you get that miracle baby that you deserve. But for the majority of people, there are some seriously simple things you can uncover about yourself, what you're doing, whether it's food, whether it's supporting your genetic makeup as best you can, that can dramatically increase your chances of having a bub. Even progesterone, like looking at your hormones before doing the horizontal tango, like there's some really powerful information waiting to be harnessed that the average couple just doesn't know is there. And you combine that with the modern stress cocktail, and no wonder people are finding it really hard to have babies and going straight to a doctor IVF approach. They just don't know what that little side loop contains. You don't even know. If you don't know it exists, why would you turn off onto that road? Of course not.
But this information, of course, is beneficial for people who are having challenges along the fertility journey. But your information, what is it, Preconception Ninja?
Yeah, I love it, because we can do this.
Anyone could go into that program as well.
Totally.
Not challenged with fertility, but for all people, so for conscious conception and healthy conception.
Absolutely. We get heaps of people. We always ask when you're entering the Facebook group, what brought you here? And it's probably about 50-50, I'm just thinking about having a baby soon.
Nice.
And it's just not working out for us, and we're checking out what some other solutions might be. So,
Awesome. So what are the top things, I suppose, that you see that have the greatest benefit to people who are planning conception? What are the things they need to really know?
So a couple of things. I'd love to talk about a couple of tests. So I think it's really great to know your MTHFR status if you're thinking of having a baby. Forget trying to get it on Medicare. Unfortunately, I think the last time I checked, you needed to have multiple miscarriages for that to be on Medicare.
But it's not a hugely expensive
No, it's like $50-60.
Yeah, because I did it. We tested
you can even
double positive.
Call online.
And then Leroy, my son, with his test was then free because I was a positive as well. So that's a good thing.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, I should have got my sons for free.
Yeah, you should have. And if you started with your grandparents, tell them they have to go. And then you and maybe your child would be free too.
Yeah, interesting. That's a good idea. Yeah, but Dad is also...
It's really important, isn't it?
Yeah. And I know because Seb is homozygous, so that's when you got a copy from Mum, copy from Dad. That must mean someone in Ollie's family doesn't detoxify well out of his two parents if he had one copy. So, you start to open up some really interesting possibilities around health. And I just think if you know your MTHFR status, whether that gene is switched on and dirty, as Dr. Ben Lynch, the amazing gene doctor, describes it, or not, I mean, it's no skin off anyone's nose to change the form of folate you take. None. Like, okay, I'll just take folinic acid or hydrofolate, or I won't take folic acid. So it's so easy. You're still getting your folate.
So if you've got one of these MTHFR variants, and if you were taking just the standard folate across the shelf from a health food store or the chemist, will that increase people's chances of a miscarriage?
No, it's not necessarily that it'll increase people's chances of a miscarriage. No, I haven't seen research that directly shows us that. It's more that for a baby to grow healthily, you need to have bioavailable folate. And some people, it's estimated up to 60% of the Caucasian population have a gene variant with this MTHFR gene. And it's two SNPs in particular that have been really well researched, the 1198 and the C677. And if you give your body bioavailable folate, it increases the chance of the pregnancy continuing healthy.
Right.
That's what the real kicker is.
Right.
And, you know, it's so interesting. I didn't know this, and I was taking folic acid, and I have homozygous C677. But my body intelligently decided to go, okay, so we're not getting folate the regular way, even though I did have a couple of minor complications, like a single umbilical artery. I didn't have the double
one artery, one vein, rather than
which is very common in MTHFR variants. Apparently, I was like, oh my gosh. So again, like, no skin off your nose, right? Just change the type of supplement, and it's just one less thing to worry about. That's what I love about that. It's not you don't even need to get technical. Just change the type of supplement. You're still getting great folate. But what I used to do when I was pregnant, and I spoke to the wonderful Carolyn Ladowski in my podcast all about the MTHFR, and I said, so is this, Carolyn, why when I was pregnant I would literally defrost those patties of frozen spinach that you can buy, those square in the supermarket? I would defrost one of those with a huge whack of butter, and I would just sit there and eat one or two of those every single day. So obviously I knew my folate needed to come from somewhere because I wasn't synthesizing what I was taking. So I just think bodies are so incredible when you let them tune in to what they need.
Intuitive eating especially.
Yeah, and it wasn't some weirdo, like, it was still a pretty weird craving, but it was at least the kind of craving I desperately needed. So MTHFR I think is a great test to get, and if you can afford it and you have and find yourself a naturopath or an integrative physician who's well versed in it, the Dutch test, which is a P-test for hormones, it's amazing.
Cool.
So Dr. Carrie Jones, who I've had on my show a couple of times for anyone who wants to learn more about the Dutch test, she is the medical director for the Dutch test. And she's an incredible hormone educator, very generous online. And this Dutch test is a P-test, so you literally pee onto some sticks throughout a few times in the day, send it off to America, or your naturopath does that, and you get how you're metabolizing hormones.
Wow.
So you much more clearly see whether you're estrogen dominant, whether your progesterone's rising in the second half of the cycle adequately. All those things that are going to set you up for a much better conception chance are much more visible in a Dutch test versus a blood draw.
Standard blood draw,
it's a magical test. It's really, really good.
Wow.
Yeah, and so for people who maybe have, I don't know, maybe they have fibroids, polyps, all sorts of estrogen dominant kind of issues that sometimes impair your chance of conceiving, then you can address all of that first and then go for it.
And you would work with a naturopath through that, or an integrative
or an integrative doctor who's familiar with the test.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's brilliant. It's such a good test. I think it's about $350. But for me, you know, considering sometimes you're talking about people who are staring down the barrel of a $10,000 round of IVF, it's like pocket change.
And so would you recommend that as well? So you've had, I think you would, but first child conceived in a short period of time, in the under 2 years. Which is a very long time, I think. Would you recommend for baby 2, baby 3 going through those tests again, or?
I mean, it really just depends on the woman's health. Like MTHFR, you're done. You've got that once. You know your status, so you don't need to test that one again. Personally, if you've got the cash, I'd check in with a Dutch test just as you do an annual checkup. Like, I think it's an amazing tool.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are my testing tips.
Amazing.
And then obviously seeing a great fertility doctor or naturopath. Yeah. They're going to have a whole host of others. I don't want to go into every single one now, but as a couple of my faves. And then lifestyle tips to just reduce as much stress from your life as you can. Look at that calendar and go, I don't even like that person. Why am I having coffee with them? This is the stuff that's stopping us from getting pregnant sometimes. Yeah. We're just putting so much reactive yes factor into our lives. Oh, okay, yeah, sure, I can do that. Sure, you could, but by doing it all, are you actually putting your body under unnecessary stress? And if you're leading up to baby time, or you're having trouble making babies, I mean, get yourself off on a holiday as fast as you possibly can to just downshift. And if you can't do that, and like money's tight, or you've taken all your annual leave, start meditating in the mornings. My favourite person to meditate to is Dr. Joe Dispenza. And he has this fantastic evening and morning meditation. They're both about 20-25 minutes, and I do those ones when I don't have time for his longer ones. And they just set you up for feeling amazing in your day, and they set you up for a really beautiful close to your night. And I mean, who doesn't have 20 minutes to look after themselves and the baby they want to have? Yeah. And if we don't, then we've really got to ask ourselves the tough questions as to why.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. Consciously prepare. I always think that, I know it's tough to go through these challenges and can be heartbreaking to watch our friends, our community go through these challenges with fertility. But at the same time, it's doing such a good thing, the journey as it's unfolding. And many families would be able to then even avoid having to go through a low toxing of their family home and general lifestyle, because they've done it in that preparation, which has given their child optimum health as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And if you look around the home, for me, the number one fertility thing is to just start thinking about your scented candles, fragranced fabric softeners, scented reeds, air freshener plug-ins that you might have in the car or in the wall, fresh air systems that you might have plugged onto your wall that are intermittently doing those little sprays and things. They sell these. I've seen an ad for them on TV.
Yeah, I think they're trying to sell them under the guise of like essential oils now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, made with essential oils. Made with is one of the biggest wording loopholes. That does not mean that is the only thing that's in there. And trust me, a cherry scented air freshener that's made with essential oils does not only have essential oils.
So is it okay to burn essential oils though in your home or not? Can they be endocrine disruptors as well?
Well, you can actually shift the chemical compounds of the essential oils by burning them, which is why diffusing is definitely a better option, cold diffusing.
Right. Yeah. And so all those things, well, what about like electromagnetic fields and stuff like that?
Brilliant one to bring up. So rather than freaking out thinking you're never allowed to hold your iPhone if you want to have a baby, I don't want to freak people out. But there are a couple of great things you can do. So you can turn your modem off, whoever's the last person to go to bed, switch it off, so that no one's sleeping in a radiated kind of environment. And if you're just pottering around the house for a couple of hours listening to the radio or a podcast on your phone that's already downloaded, why don't you have the modem off? Does it need to be on all day? We could have actually switched it off while we're doing this interview now that I think about it. So it's just about raising your awareness. And I say that just to illustrate that I'm not perfect. Sometimes I miss things as well. It's fine. But yeah, that is a wonderful one. There's some studies around lowered blood pressure and heart rate.
Really?
On reducing the amount of time your modem's on. Yeah. And then just have your phone on airplane mode. Never have it on. I mean, unless you've got a teenager that you're waiting for to come home from a party, you would have those sorts of situations. Like, there's always a reason to break a rule that you make, but at the same time, you've got to have the rules so that we're doing what we do most of the time to be able to go with the flow some of the time.
Coming back to our original state, really. Coming back into balance, not disturbing the nervous system.
Yeah. So those would be my main ones. Those couple of tests, just a couple of things you can do to reduce EMFs, that little thing that you can do around fragrance to just box up all of that synthetic stuff that's perfuming your air.
And that includes like perfumey skin cream?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I like to do it in 2 phases for people, and one of my favourite challenges is the box challenge, where you put fabric softener, air fresheners of any kind that you have, scented candles, scented reeds, all in a box, chuck it in the garage, don't even have to throw it away yet, and then just not have it in your house for a couple of weeks, and then bring it all back, light the candles, put the fabric softener in the next wash, do everything, and just observe how your body feels.
Wow.
I'm not even going to tell you what happens. You could go figure it out for yourselves, but it is pretty mind-blowing.
That's amazing.
What you realise when you bring it back.
I love it. You've got some cool little strategies.
Yeah.
Learning strategies.
Well, because we have to come to the realisations on our own, right? There's enough people on the internet bossing us around, telling us what to do. But if you come into the realisation on your own, then it feels like a really powerful journey for yourself, instead of feeling like you're doing something because you think you should.
Yeah.
I think that's a really important thing we need to change with health topics.
Yeah.
I love it. Amazing. So imagine a couple is pregnant now. They haven't done she births yet, so they haven't had their lessons on food and lifestyle and meditation and the nervous system and all of that kind of stuff. What are the things? Obviously, a lot's going to carry over, but are there top tips during pregnancy? Does that toxicity that might be in the mother's body, does that leak through to the child?
It can do, which is why we really recommend, if you possibly can, get started before conception for a good 6 months, cleaning all this stuff up. But if you can't, I really started cleaning everything up halfway through my pregnancy, and the simple act of stopping the exposures of what you're putting on your skin, putting around your home, it's all helping. Every single day it's helping. So please don't feel like, it's too late because I've got a 1-year-old or because I'm 38 weeks pregnant. It's never too late. But what you don't want to do once you've actually had the baby is start any kind of detoxification regime while you're breastfeeding. Because it's been shown that, especially with a first child, stored toxins in breast tissue it can come out through breast milk as well. You don't want that to happen. So just stopping exposure is what you want to do if you've got the baby or if you're in advanced pregnancy stages. If you're in pre-conception phase, you really want to ramp up detox and do some more encouraging detoxification.
Medications that are taken during childbirth as well would carry through to a child. Everything does into the child in a much smaller blood quotient as well. So that takes time to detoxify from their little bodies as well as our own. It takes a bit of time. Syntocinon.
I was on that for 8 hours.
Strong correlation, a 32 to 36% increase in postnatal anxiety and depression with Synto usage as well. It's a very powerful hormone, so it can really set people's minds off, as well as give them chronic insomnia and a whole bunch of other problems. But we don't even know the effects, I suppose, on the liver, on the digestion. Obviously we know antibiotics could have an impact, and there's other things we can do to try and counterbalance that as well.
And that's the thing, I think it's about empowering people to know that there's help on the other side if you have had to use any of those things.
That's right.
So often I see lectures talking about how terrible all this stuff is, but not offering anybody any kind of support on the other side once they realise, oh crap, I actually bottle fed my baby by choice from day one. I didn't even try it, and then, okay, so we're dealing with that, and we've now found out some of the reasons that would not be the best idea. But how about we then support the baby who's bottle fed and the mother, move them away from the guilt trip and make for the best possible experience with some probiotics, all the other things that you can do.
And naturopathic herbs are always so powerful.
To support that baby's health, regardless of how things started or had to start or by choice. Yes, it's just, it blows my mind how much information we get given, but how little tools.
Yeah. That's right.
So postpartum, going into parenting, I suppose everyone's at different stages, like you say, in their journey of awareness and with the ages of their children. And, you know, there's things with my son, like he goes to sleep with his iPhone, you know. I can't actually stop that. He's talking to his girlfriend in bed. As they fall asleep, you know, they're talking to each other until one falls asleep and then the other falls asleep. Unless I snuck into his room at like...
cute.
It's crazy cute. But like, unless I snuck into his room at midnight to turn off his phone, like, I'm not going to be able to stop that from going on. But I try and feed him good food, grass-fed meats, and... is not into sauerkraut or anything like that. He won't take any pill, any herb on the planet. I take him for BICOM, you know, bioresonance therapy as well, because we've had parasites from all our trips around third world countries, probably also from just water basically in Byron Bay, where everyone seems to have blastocystis up there. So yeah, we do what we can. I'm sure we're not doing everything though. Yeah. So what would you say?
Who is? Like, who is doing everything? No, I'm not. Have you seen this blonde hair?
Yeah, it's organic, right?
As close to as possible. My hairdresser uses Naturleak, and it's a good brand. Yeah.
So what should we be doing for our kiddies?
So I think for our kids, the number one thing we need to do is raise our awareness. Just start raising our awareness every time we make a decision for them. Whether it's a toy that we're considering, whether it's a type of texture, like is there one with less fumes? Is there, you know, there are so many things we can do to make the best of a bad situation where maybe, yes, you have to get the books covered, but maybe you can find some covers that don't have PVC phthalates in them, which we found. So, and that's just something you can Google, like phthalate-free or PVC-free book covers, and something will come up for people. Exactly. And we found some really easy jackets where we didn't even need to do the laminating
Oh,
step.
that's a relief. I was the worst laminator in the world.
But so there's so many decisions that it would take us literally hours to go through them all. So I think my favourite piece of advice is to just start thinking, when a decision comes up, whether it's an item of clothing, something they need for school, a birthday coming up, you know, think what would be the best option for their health and the planet's health. And what I switched to last year, unless there's something major that Seb needs, is experiences for birthdays and Christmases.
Love it.
You know, like so much cooler to take my son to the Australian Open for the game of tennis that he absolutely loves. For the day, just fly down for the day, didn't have to pay for accommodation or anything, use some points, and take him on an experience that he's going to remember for the rest of his life, rather than some other toy that he played with for 3 seconds and then 5 days later you ask him, huh?
I love that. We do that as well. And like yesterday we were in Roselle and they've got some really amazing secondhand stores. And Leroy's like, oh, can we go in there? And I was like, it was a fantastic secondhand store. And then I realised, actually, that's primarily what we buy now. We buy, you know, secondhand clothing.
We do too.
I'm wearing my $15 jeans today.
Sometimes I don't even buy it. I just say to a girlfriend who's got a boy a few years older than me, hey, do you want to do a clear out? Because we're kind of running low on size 10, 11, 12 clothes. And then just the other week, my friend Julia gave us this big bag of clothes from her super sporty boy. Awesome. And now Seb's got all these tennis outfits and, you know, and he just loves it. And he doesn't give a toss whether it was secondhand or not. Just loves having it.
I love it.
So I think we have to shake off this whole idea that everything needs to be new and perfect, because it's kind of screwed our world over from a landfill and a psychology perspective.
And it's going to get amped up. Like it really is going to get worse. So people have to stop. I mean, have you seen Damon Gameau's new film 2040? We have to stop that identification with our own private vehicles. We're going to have to. It's just going to have to become redundant, that identification, in order to save the planet.
Agree.
So we have to get rid of all that. So it's good that it's happening. And I think raising children in that way will allow things to accelerate. They are the biggest change makers, really.
Yeah, that's right.
So what else is there? So food, clothing.
So many things.
I know.
Look, I think pillows are really important. That's worth talking about, because we squish our little faces against them night after night. And it is, I know we just mentioned landfill. And of course, if you get something natural, that's not going to be an issue. But every 2 years, you got to get a new pillow.
I heard it was every 3 months.
No, 2 years.
Maybe it was like the Asthma Association or something like that. My stepmom's a GP and she told me that. So I was like, okay.
Maybe,
my dogs eat my pillow every couple of months.
Oh, do they?
Now I've put them in 3 pillow cases. Like I have a special chiropractic one that saves my neck. Yeah. And the dogs just love eating that foam.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think it's better for me to have like the bamboo pillow protector, and then I've got a cotton, and then I have a silk cover on top.
Silk is great for the dust mite factor. Yeah.
And then also, because I don't know how good it is to really have foam.
It's not.
No, it's not.
And it's microplastics as well.
Yeah.
So I think latex is your absolute best bet. Pure latex.
What is pure latex made from?
It's rubber.
Just rubber?
Yeah.
Okay.
So latex is a really great material. Wool is a great material as well. Not so great if you've got asthmatics in the house though. Yep. So it's really about finding the natural fibre that's right for you. There's buckwheat hull now. Yep. Natural Bedding Company in Australia has some really great options, but just Google, wherever people are. Bamboo can be, but often it's really chemically processed.
Oh, right.
So with bamboo textiles, you want to go for the word lyocell. That's the Lyocell.
Okay.
Is the safe form of bamboo textiles.
And that implies it's not being treated with lots of chemicals?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
There's a lot in the way that it's harvested and processed that is still left. You go, oh, it's made of bamboo, it's natural. But the way something is processed, whether it's natural or not, is just as significant.
Yeah, you're just like a wealth of information. There's little rabbit holes. Okay, so pillows are important. So what do you guys have?
Encyclopedia nerd.
Yeah, you are. And
We've got latex. Yeah.
Okay.
We love it.
Got it.
Yeah.
2 years you'd replace that?
Absolutely.
Because it's going to accumulate?
Mould, dust mite, what else? Bacteria, other fungi, all sorts. Yeah. Just got to freshen that thing up.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, pillows, what else? And another top tip, what's one more thing that you would think is really critical? And because all the things you're saying are kind of not really on people's radar, the general population's
really?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Not in the depth that you're able to talk about it.
I'm just trying to think of like a more, something even more obvious. Water?
Good point.
Pretty important to get a really good water filter.
Good old Sydney tap water.
Yeah.
Full of chlorine.
Not.
And copper.
Yeah, you want to reduce the metals in your water. You definitely want to reduce the chlorine. You want to make sure there's no nasty bugs in there. And pesticide runoff. Those are the main things that I want to get out of my water. Whatever side of the fluoride debate people stand on, it's still worth getting a great water filter for all those other reasons. Yeah. So that would be a huge tip, especially if you have to bottle feed your bubba, because they get everything, as you were talking about, blood concentration, same with water concentration, the tiny little body, but they're still drinking like a litre of water a day if it's getting mixed in with formula. And so you want to make sure that water is pristine, and boiling it up is not the answer, unfortunately.
No. Yeah, I was just in Byron Bay. Their water's worse than Sydney's. It like smells more chlorinated than the Sydney water.
Yeah, it really depends on where you are. Like I was in Tassie, the water tasted amazing. I was in...
It's the best water in the world.
Yeah, when we go to the Southern Highlands, the water tastes beautiful from the Winchicarabi part. So, you still have the risks of glyphosate runoff from farming. Yeah. I just think it's good to get that filtered.
Got it.
Yeah, there you go. There's a few things to move on with there.
That's huge.
Yeah.
You do so much work. What's your favourite thing that you love doing in your work?
Do you know, I just love helping create possibility for people. I love helping them feel like this isn't hard and it doesn't all have to be done today, but they can actually move forward with practical tools. Yeah. That's my favourite thing. Yeah. Trading information, not so exciting to me. I mean, there are a million experts out there that I love bringing in, but trading in transformation is what I love turning up to work for.
Love it. Yeah. And I think one of the best, we're going to tell people where to go to find you and the things that you have available, but I love that you were telling me that you have even downloadable like letters that people can write to their council if they're a bit sus on the play equipment, if it's filled with what's in the...
Well, that's more about the grass, the way it's treated for weeds. So if you're thinking, I really don't want my child playing in Roundup treated grass, then we actually have a downloadable that has all the scientific research that suggests caution around Roundup.
Oh my God.
And contacts for steam companies, steam weeding companies, which do it for the same price.
And tuck shops even.
We've got an additive letter for tuck shops. We've got phthalates for schools. Like a lot of schools use air fresheners or have plug-in air fresheners in their classrooms. Lots of little smelly kids running around. They think they're doing the right thing by making the air smell nicer, but actually impairing their learning, sadly. Amazing. So you don't want to do that. Yeah. So we've got a whole bunch. You can have a little dig. All our past webinars are in there as well. Yeah.
And a hugely successul podcast. In 3 years, over 1 million subscribers.
I know, crazy.
It's awesome.
Just nuts. So nuts.
Podcast machine.
I love having a podcast. Well, because we cover so many different topics.
Yeah.
I remember at the start I was like, oh my gosh, are people going to go, I don't even know where this podcast is going. It's so different every week. But it's turned out to be what people love about it. Yeah. And I guess what I like to do with Lox Tox Life is attract people who give a toss about everything. You know, it's just actually about leading an aware, conscious, beautiful, positive life. And sometimes you've got to learn some cold, hard facts to move closer to that life, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Absolutely. So if people want to find you, what's the best website for them to go to?
So,
and podcast?
Everything is called Lox Tox Life.
Lox Tox
Life.
So
lotoxlife.com.
Yep.
At Lox Tox Life for Instagram.
Got it.
Lox Tox Life on Facebook. Lox Tox Life the podcast.
Good.
Lox Tox Life the book.
Yay.
Everything's Lox Tox Life.
So simple.
Nice and easy.
And you've got courses that you run. What's the hand-holding course? That's like your amazing...
That's Go Lox Tox. Yeah. So that one's coming up again in October.
Yeah.
But it's open, so people can register for it now. So they've just sorted themselves.
And then they can do that 5 weeks journey with you as well.
That's right.
Amazing.
October.
Amazing.
Yeah. So we run that twice a year live, and then everything else you can literally they're more around specific goals, so going gluten-free, going dairy-free, going bye-bye nasties for additives, preconception ninja, low tox kids, inflammation ninja, and thrive, raising kids who love real food. So all of those you can do from today.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thanks. And what would be your last thing that you'd say to pregnant families getting ready to give birth and to go on the parenting journey? Last words.
I would say check in with how scared you are, because your baby does not deserve fear to be the prominent emotion in its parents' lives. I really think we're all so terrified of doing the wrong thing that we miss all the beauty of the miracle of what it is to bring a baby into the world. And if we shift our focus, then everything we start to do for that baby is out of pure joy and love and respect, rather than fear of not getting it right. And I think that's something that we all need to do a bit better as parents. I know I wish someone had said that to me.
Yeah. And we need to be reminded of it. So thanks for reminding me, reminding all of us, and thank you for your time today, and thanks for sharing all your amazing knowledge.
Such a pleasure.
You're a legend. Okay, so we can say goodbye now to everyone who's watching.
Bye.
Have a great day. See you.
Thank you for tuning in today. We hope you enjoyed the show. Remember to subscribe so that you don't miss out on our next conversation. Share with a friend and leave us a review.